The following video is a production of the Fondation LatinArte, in association with the Centre Mémoire Montréalais, and the International Center for Information and Documentation on Haiti, the Caribbean and the Afro-Canadienne community. It was produced under the direction of Mariza Rosales Argonza, in 2018, as part of the project, Vues transversales. The video is part of Mémoire de Montréal, the MEMS online encyclopedia. It appears in the collection, Stories of Immigration, and in the dossier, The Latin American Community in Montreal. It shows a meeting with Mauricio Segura, a writer from Montreal, who immigrated from Chile. Credits begin. Images scroll by, as if on a film reel. Some of them stand out. Across Park Martin Luther King, St. Pascal Bailon Church stands beside Plaza Côte de Neige. Cyclists ride in a park. Facing Beaver Lake, a woman and her dog are sitting on a bench. The Place de Youville fire station stands under a blue sky. The title appears. Vues transversales. The film reel zooms in on the face of Mauricio Segura, who wears glasses. He stands in front of the shelves of the library. Sitting by a window with a view of a sunny street, Mauricio is holding a notebook and a pen.
Well, I am Mauricio Segura. I'm a writer, mainly a novelist. I mainly write novels. I also write essays. And I am a journalist. So, for a long time I wrote for the magazine L'Actualité. I write for L'Inconvénient, which is a literary magazine. I also taught for a long time. Nowadays I teach less. And I also worked in the film industry for a long time. Now that's less the case. I am more dedicated to my novels.
He scrolls through a document on a computer screen.
I am originally from Chile, but I arrived in Quebec very young, at the age of 5, in 1974. So, I am from one of those Chilean families of political exiles. At the time, therefore, we were truly a family of political exiles, because my father was involved in politics in Chile. And when we arrived here, all that, it was quite a learning curve. So, today I am 49 years old. I've been in Quebec for 45 years, so there you have it.
He observes the street from his window.
Well, to me the early years are very much tied to a very well-known neighborhood in Montreal, which people know, which is called Côte des Neiges. My first book, titled Black Alley in English, plays on prejudices people had about the neighborhood. They thought of it as a bit scary, because they said, there were black people there, and some people would use the N-word to refer to it. So I found this bias interesting. It said a lot of fascinating things about Montreal. So, I think I'm part of the first wave of immigration to come here from the third world. Really, that was the 70s. So my friends were Vietnamese, Haitians. We were a colorful immigration. One way to put it, it was really the first immigration, which came from the southern hemisphere.
At Park Martin Luther King, formerly Kent.
The heart of my inspiration, I think of a park, I will immediately think of Park Kent, for example, where several scenes from Black Alley take place. Important scenes take place in this park. And this is the park of my childhood. And we often hear writers say that childhood and adolescence are the core of inspiration. I wish it were something else. I lived in the Plateau, I lived in Outremont, I also lived in other neighborhoods. But it's always these images, these first images, drawn from my childhood and adolescence which constantly come back to me. So it's really my imagination, confined around this park. The running track. Also the swimming pool around this park, and obviously, above all, the people who populated this neighborhood. Well, I still consider it my city. This is where it all starts. My father would say, his city is Temuo. My mother would say, Santiago de Chile. I can't really do that. I really like Santiago. I like many other cities in South America. I feel good there, but I can hardly say that it is my city. It's impossible. My city is Montreal. I love it and it makes me angry. With all its faults and all its qualities. It's a city with which I have a love-hate relationship. A rather passionate relationship.
On Chemin de la Côte de Neige, vehicles drive by the corner of Avenue Appleton. Credits begin. A film reel shows portraits of Latin Quebec artists. In one image, a drizzle of maple syrup drips from a tin can. It pools into the shape of Latin America. The title appears on the amber puddle. Vues transversales, a panorama of Latin American art in Quebec. Direction, production and audiovisual post-production, Felix Herrera. Production and content, Angela Sierra. Research and translations, Yseult Picard. Animation, G4 Audiovisual and Herrera Mortigui Sanchez. Project direction, Mariza Rosales Argonza. Many thanks to the Latin artists and their talent, who make Vues transversales possible. Ana Catalina Montoya, Ana Pfeiffer Quiros, Beatriz Herrera, Diana Leon, Diego Yeo Herrera, Laura Bari, Maria Ezcura, Mauricio Segura, Rafael Sotolicchio, and Rafael Zaldivar. Music, Rafael Zaldivar. Circularity, Danza Negra, Decima, Don Heather, Eyesight, Miguaguanco, Oneness, and Pregonero. Special thanks to the Centre Culturel Notre Dame de Grâce and the Bibliothèque Bénie, to Édition Boréal, to Les Grands Ballets Canadiennes, to Cajoyerie, to the Maison de la Culture Villeray Saint-Michel Park Extension, to the Salle de Diffusion de Park Extension, to McGill University and to the Théâtre aux Écuries. Vues transversales is a production of the Fondation LatinArte, in association with the Memensitica. Vues transversales is made possible thanks to the financial support of the City of Montreal and the Conseil des Arts et des Lettres du Québec. Audio description by Ella Cuscio.